Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood. In this series, we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget. It's day 37. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks for joining me. We have a greenish-blue border around the free-to-play account, and then when I switch over to the budget account, there will be no border, so that you don't get confused about which account I'm actually on at the time that I'm talking. Sometimes I go back and forth talking about both accounts at the same time, but you'll always know which one I'm clicked into if you look at the screen. So hopefully that'll make sense and help everybody out to stay oriented on which account we're on. It's really interesting, the similarity between where we are on both accounts. And I knew there wouldn't be a huge difference, but we've been on the daily gem pack for a few days. We have the Forge Pass on the budget account. I still have some more budget to spend for the month. I just haven't seen anything that I thought really needed to spend money on or for progress on the account. But it really is amazing how close both of them are. And just as an example of that, I'll show you where we are on Clan Boss. Before I started today, I just went ahead and put in both of my keys. I had 2 keys saved up for Clan Boss. We got an extra key this morning for a update reward, and so I had 2 keys sitting there when the reset happened just now today, so I went ahead and put both of them in. We're doing 4 keys on Brutal for both, and look at how close they both are as far as damage goes. It's I don't know, it's just really interesting to me. We're a little bit ahead on the free-to-play account, progress-wise. We're on level 49, and the budget account is just about to go over to level 49. But look at this damage. It's crazy how close that is. 500,000 more damage. We're on our 37th day, so 36 days of playing, and I've been playing consistently. I've logged in every day, and I've played about the same amount of time on both accounts. Had a little more luck pulling shards on the free-to-play account, as I see it. It's a little more luck. And I probably have had a little bit more luck with the budget account as far as gear goes, but it just seems like everything kind of evens out, and the game sort of keeps you from making too much progress at a time. And one of the main issues is silver. It's so hard early game to have any kind of silver built up, and then you get a challenge or a mission or something like that, like this one. Equip 4 champions with 6 level 16 artifacts. That's a difficult one to get. And, I'm lucky that I have 3 of them done, and I've almost got one more done, but it's a difficult challenge to do even at this stage. We've been playing for over a month, and I still, it's hard to find pieces of gear that are worth taking up to level 16, much less just being able to do it. I've only got 2 million silver. That could easily go away with one rank up, one level up from 12 to 16. That all that 2 million could just go away, just leveling up one piece of gear. So I don't know, it's tough, and it's not like I haven't been active playing. So we get a 1-day XP banner, so you can see we're on day 37. And I got another Void Shard from Clan Boss, from Brutal, from the Brutal chest this morning. So we're up to 8 Void Shards. And on the budget account, still haven't got. So I've gotten that twice I've gotten that twice on the free to play. I've gotten a Void Shard 2 times in the last month from doing Clan Boss, and the other one I think was on hard actually. This was on Brutal, which happens more often. You get a Void Shard more often on Brutal than on hard, but it's almost. I mean, I think I do hard on my main account just consistently every day, and I think I probably average 1 a month. But I collect 2 chests a day on hard usually, unless I just miss a key. If I only do 3 keys in a day, but if I do 4 keys, I always do 1 key in hard. And like I said, I average about 1 void shard a month probably. I haven't really kept track of it. It just feels like that's about right to me. So yeah, it's it's kind of crazy that this account, the free to play, has gotten lucky on void shards twice on these early game clan boss chests, because we're only collecting 1 a day. Our clan doesn't do enough damage to the clan boss to collect 2 chests every day. The other thing, okay, so the update is out, the nerfs are out, the gearing presets are out. And I was a little, it feels to me, it feels a little less intuitive than maybe it should. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, it's a really nice feature to have the presets and to be able to have 5 for each champion. I mean, that's more than I think I would ever need on any champion. I don't use most champions more than a few places in the game, and a lot of times I've got them so their builds work, well in several places. For example, just as an example, one of the ones that I really liked having that was Newt. I have to switch his banner every time I switch back and forth from Sand Devil to Fire Knight, and because he needs a different speed tune for Sand Devil. So I had a different, I had this banner that I have 2 banners that I use, and I just switch them back and forth. And it'll be nice just to be able to quickly go in and hit that preset and not have to worry about it anymore. And I've got it labeled, and so it's a really nice feature. I'm glad they came out with that. It's going to make things a lot easier, a lot nicer in the game. And you can separate between doing your accessories and doing your other top row set of gear, because a lot of times I think with a lot of these we're going to be changing the top set, to give a different gear set or something, but we may be leaving the accessories. So I think it's really nice that they have that separated for us. We can group them together if we want, or we can separate them out. It's pretty nice. And then the other really cool thing that I noticed, and this was in yesterday, so I thought maybe some of the update. I thought the update had actually already happened when I saw this yesterday, but you'll see the reaction pieces are separated out here from the rest of the accessories. So it's got standard and then your special, and it lists which special it is: special blood shield, special reaction. That's so much nicer. It's really nice. And then we can hide those filters if we want to. But man, just really cool. I can't imagine wanting to hide those, because sometimes I'm just looking for the reaction ones stand out a lot better. If you're doing Stone Skin or Protection Set or Slayer or Merciless, it's a lot harder to tell in those little icons. And when they're equipped on someone, the little image of the avatar to whoever they're equipped to covers the icon that shows which gear set they're in. So especially when we're searching already equipped pieces of gear, it'll be a lot nicer. You can see here. Yeah, see, here's an example of that. So this is a Slayer piece. I would never be able to tell I could, because it's different than the other banners, but I wouldn't, the difference between Stone Skin, for example, and Protection, you can't really tell the difference very much. And with this little image of this avatar to tell me who it's geared on, with that there, you wouldn't be able to tell. And so this is so much nicer. I'm glad they did this. Really, it's going to really help a lot as when we're searching for accessories. An early game like this, obviously we don't have that many of those pieces, but as you get further and further on and collect more of those, and they keep coming out with new sets that have accessories associated with them, I think it's just going to make things a lot easier. So grateful for that. New Fusion. The new Fusion came out today, and the events for the Fusion, and so we've got the fragments summoned for Slixus, and I'm really glad that this was the epic that they chose to fuse for her, for the Incarnate. I love the name. It's great. And she's a decent champion. The problem is I don't want to go through the process of doing this on a free-to-play and on a budget account where I'm not sure I'll have the resources to do it. I think we probably could, think I've saved up maybe enough shards to be able to get through it. To just probably just to barely squeak by. I mean, there's certain events that are going to be easier than others, but I just, for what she is and what she does, I think we already have a pretty good option in Taragi the Frog. I know she does some things he doesn't, but he does some things she doesn't as well. And so I really feel like it's better to maybe hold off and keep our resources that we can, and maybe collect 1 or 2 copies of this Slixus. I think he looks like a pretty good damage dealer, a pretty hard hitter. Maybe not the best, but if he's anything, the comp I keep hearing is Genbo, and if he's anything like Genbo, he'd be a very good nuker, especially early game. So I think if we could pick up a couple of copies of him, put him in the Faction Guardians, and probably only have to build 1, but put him in the Faction Guardians, I think he might be a really good one. So that's the plan for the free-to-play and for the budget account. We're going to go for probably 2 copies of Slixus. I think that's achievable with where we are right now, and I think that's going to be a lot more comfortable. Like, for example, right now, the events we have going on, the Dungeon Divers, that's a lot. You know, these Dungeon Divers are a lot of points, and this is a 4-day Dungeon Divers, and it's a lot of points to get to. And we would have to finish Fire Night. The Fire Night tournament started at the same time, which I'm glad they've started doing that also. The last couple of these types of events, they've had the dungeon event and the Dungeon Divers open on the same day. It used to be they would have the Dungeon Divers open the day before the first the first dungeon event, or the first dungeon tournament. And it was really, we'd have to wait, and we'd have to tell people or whatever, hey, don't run a bunch of dungeons yet today. Wait until the Fire Night or Spider or whatever opens tomorrow. So that's a lot nicer. But getting to this 1650, kind of difficult for the free to play, especially because we're pretty low level on Fire Night right now. We were able to get to Fire Night 13 yesterday on the budget account. I'll go in here on the budget and I'll show you. We were able to get the challenge done. So you can see now we've completed all of our dungeon challenges, and the last one that we did was stage 13 on Fire Night. And we were able to do that because we have an allure, but I did have to manual that, and it's not really, I don't think I can set it on auto. I've been spending some time running Allure and also High Katoon through Minotaur to get scrolls and also to get some levels. But I think my next priority for being built, we need a Spirit Champion up to rank 6. And I was thinking I would do an Armiger, but I think High Katoon does the job at least for Fire Night right now, where we have Allure. And then we also have Adventure. So that would give us three different affinities. And I think the overlap there is really nice. Like, if we could use those 3 in all of our Fire Night runs, I think that gets us through most of the levels of Fire Night if we have them all built up to level 60. And so then we could have 2 other, damage dealers or whatever, some support to keep us through, or maybe ally attack if we get really lucky, something like that. Or maybe a Cold Heart would be awesome. But so we'll see. But I really think that maybe High Katoon is our next level 60. So I'm going to leave Allure right now at level 50. I mean, she's at 46 right now, but I'm going to leave her at 5-star for right now. I still need to level up some of her gear and make her a little bit more survivable. They're not able to one-shot the waves. The waves get some turns before we're able to get through them, and so we're just not doing enough damage to the waves yet. So we need to be able to do that. But High Katoon, she's just way too squishy when it comes to getting through those waves. For what she does in arena, she's already fine. She's fast, and then she does her skill. But I think we're gonna want to build her. that may not really be a popular decision, but I she's kind of the only viable spirit other than Armiger, and I think I will build the Armiger later because he is really good for what he does. But I think right now, because we're using Haikatoon already, I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll build the Haikatoon. Did I justify it enough? Well, yeah, let me know in the comments if you disagree, if you think, well, you don't need a spirit, you don't need to do that spirit mission right away. It's a challenge. It's just another challenge to get some more rewards. But, the reward in this case is a legendary book, and to have these finished, and that's kind of nice. So, and then winning a campaign battle using 4 level 60s, that'll come right after, we get that one done. So I was kind of on the fence about it, and I had kind of decided to go Armiger, but then I thought, well, she's a really good speed lead. She has a good speed aura, and it's in all battles, and she puts the speed boost up, and she does decrease speed, which Fenshi also does, but it's a good backup. To have 2 of them of different affinities, that kind of covers you for getting down through, the rest of the Fire Knight levels. And so I think that's what we're going to do. We'll go in here and claim our daily gems for the daily gem pack. So you can see I'm building up my gems. It's a lot faster, but it's funny. I only have 200 more. Even though I've done the daily gem pack, I have opened 1 more level of the mine, of the gem mine though. So I am a little behind. Obviously, I'm about 500 gems behind on the free-to-play account. I'll take you in here and show you we won CVC. It was a convincing win. We were able to collect some nice rings, some nice accessories, couple blood shield, couple reaction. The problem was I don't think any of them fit into the champions that we're using currently, but we'll save them for later. I'm sure they'll have their use eventually. I don't know if we're ever going to get any undead or any like high elves, yeah, we will, but. So back on the fusion, sorry, I'm kind of skipping around a little bit here, but back on the fusion, one of the other reasons I just don't see the need to go for her, and I think this is a pretty significant problem with this fusion. She's not a champion from all the playtesting that I've seen for what she does, and just reading her kit, she doesn't. It's not really, there's no. She doesn't do anything quirky or different or anything. It's all pretty clear what she does. And I think we have a pretty firm grasp on what she is and what she does. And she seems to do that job pretty well, but she's not solving a problem that anyone in the game has. If there was a clamor for, hey, we're not able to keep our Arbiter alive because Arbiter's a speed champion. If you can't keep your Arbiter alive, it's just because she's not fast enough most of the time. If you're trying to beat other teams on the speed race, that's when you use your Arbiter. And if you don't beat them in the speed race, they kill you. If you beat them, you usually kill them, unless they've got a sneaky strategy that. But you can usually tell if that's what they're doing. And for me, from my perspective, I have. Not that unique because there's a lot of guys playing multiple accounts, but I'm a month and a week in on these 2 early game accounts where I'm almost at the point, like if I really, really wanted to try and struggle, I could probably do this fusion. I'm not positive I could do it, but I think I could. But I'm also a pretty end game player. I'm still the one thing I'm not able to do yet is finish all of Centranos. I'm still working on that. But other than that, I've mostly got most of the things in the game on auto. Was able to mostly do all those things, and I've collected. I haven't even collected. I've got my Quintus. I got to Gold 3 in Live Arena. I mean, I'm a pretty I'm not the highest level player, but I'm fairly end game, and I don't see that she solves any problems for me on that account either. So who is she for? That's what problem does she solve in the game where somebody's raising their hand saying, I really need an incarnate on my account. Like, this is going to be huge for me. Like Wixwell, that we had when I started, I really wish I could have gotten on both of these accounts. I mean, Clan Boss would be solved. But he would have been a great one to go for. It's just there's no way we could have done it. But you could tell what he was going to be good for. And I think it's funny because the main thing with Wixwell, when he very, very first came out and they were using him just at the beginning of test server, it was the one criticism everybody had was, his shield growth isn't that much. And I find that really comical because it was only on the first couple of hits that his shield growth wasn't that much, but it ramps up. So, it's like compounding interest. The Wixwell shield growth, and and everybody who was able to test him on the test server said, he's really good with all these other things. He has this unique buff that he puts on, and there's all these great things that he does, but the shield growth just kind of isn't that big of a deal, but he's still really good. Well, and then we find out that his shield growth was the best thing about him. And I just, I find that comical. He's a great champion. I feel bad that maybe I wish I could have started a little earlier. I couldn't have done it, schedule-wise and everything. There was no way for me to do that. And I couldn't have seen it coming. So it's water under the bridge now, but I feel like that's a champion, a fusion, that we knew what he was and what he was going to be able to do for everybody's account. This gal, I don't see it. I don't see what problem she solves. There's so many champions in this game who do shielding, who do strengthen, who do increase defense, who do provoke, and I don't know. Unless I'm missing something. So if you have a comment, and that you think the Incarnate is actually going to be, really good, and that somebody's missing something, I'd love to hear. I really would love to hear what that could be, and maybe I'm missing something about it, but I just, she has the provoke on her A1, which it's not that it's not that high of a chance. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. She's good at all the things she does, but I don't see going through a tough fusion process for her to get what she is. Taxel enemy, 75% chance of removing all shield buffs and one random buff from all enemies. But that doesn't apply to protected shields, which a lot of people are using bolster for their shields now. So, and then places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense, and it seems like a good shield, and that's good. Places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also places 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns, and that includes her, I'm assuming. And so it's a nice skill. It's on a 3-turn cooldown after it's booked, and increases this champion's accuracy by 20 for each ally under an ally protection buff. So yeah, and then she gets more accuracy, and then that will help with her provoke and her provoke on her A1. But is that the only thing that she does with accuracy? That's all I see. Increases her resistance by 20 for each ally under ally protection buff. And then she also then this champion will also receive 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters if there are multiple champions in this team with the same skill. This effect will only activate once. If any ally arbiter is about to get killed by a fatal hit, places an unkillable buff on her. If there are multiple champions, okay, it only does one. So she's good without an arbiter, which is nice, but I just don't see what she's doing that's special enough to go through the arduous process of doing a fusion. And I wouldn't use her with an arbiter because it's a valuable spot on a roster where you need other things doing, and arbiter's a speed champion. You're not tanking up, for a long fight when you're using an arbiter. Usually with an arbiter, you want to go first, you want to wipe out the other team and call it a day. You don't want to take a bunch of hits and protect your arbiter from death and all these other things. Now maybe mid game, if you're using your arbiter in a bunch of other places and it's a long fight, or you're using it in Hydra, maybe I guess that would solve the problem. But there are other champions that do some of those jobs. So, and some of them are epics, that they're a little easier to build. So I don't know. No, and she has a collection of things in her kit that are good. And I could see maybe, you know, if you have a Hydra team where you're using your Arbiter, that's very viable. Maybe having her on your Hydra team helps, you know, extend the length of the fight and helps your team survive and keeps your Arbiter alive for that fight. As I was racking my brain, I just couldn't think of another place where I thought she would be valuable. So yeah, so we're gonna skip it. That's the the very short. To sum up my long argument, I'm not gonna go for. That's just what it is. That's what it's come down to. If you disagree, and you please leave it in the comments. If you agree, give me a like, if you don't mind. Yeah, and you can see the 2 times on regen for Fire Knight, and I got kind of excited when we got into Fire Knight 13, and I thought, well, maybe we could do it, and maybe with some of the levels we've got up, let's take a look and see if they can get through Fire Knight 13. It's just not that efficient. You know, Fire Knight is one you want to be, if you're farming and you're trying to do dungeon divers and you're trying to do a Fire Knight tournament. Yeah, and Allure's A2 isn't booked, and so it's tough. You know, she doesn't. Yeah, and see, they're going right after Haikatoon. Obviously, she's weak affinity here also. That's why they're going after her. But yeah, we're just not able to take down these waves fast enough. And I do have this fight on a preset to optimize their skills for getting into the shield here. So hopefully, see. Let me move myself a little here. So see. So War Maiden, I had her set so that she would do her A2 first, and Fenshi's great in here. He has multiple hits on all of his abilities. Yeah, and see, so Arbiter's just going to keep the turn meter down. Yeah, so we could farm this stage. I'm not sure how much higher we could go. Maybe we could go a little bit higher, but Haikatoon taking some hits in the waves, really, it makes her kind of a liability on the team unless she can survive. And actually, you can build her to be pretty tanky so she's not a liability anymore. We could probably go a lot higher with her being tougher. So yeah, this works great. And I leave the poisons on that Fenshi does because he ignores defense when there's poisons on the target. So I mean, you might want to cut his ability that does the poisons off, but I actually put it on there because eventually when he's got War Master and everything, he'll just and the rest of his mastery's finished, he'll just hit harder and it'll take a lot less time. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like we can do it. It's just, you know, gathering a bunch of 4-star gear. It's not going to get us where we need to go on the tournament. See, that's only 8 points, and we used what, 12 energy? 14. We used 14 energy to get 8 points. You know, and that's a really inefficient. What you want, I mean, if you're doing stage 20. You're kind of doing 1 point per energy for the most part. Sometimes you're even a little bit more efficient than that. And I just even on this account where we actually the champions that we've pulled on this account set us up really well to do Fire Knight, and we're still not ready, I think, to do a tournament. So yeah, that one's not viable. There will be a few events during this fusion that are going to be really doable for us, and so I'm just going to wait for those and collect, you know, try and collect 2 copies of the Void Epic. What's his name again? He's got a cool name. It sounds like a Harry Potter. What are the? I want to say faction. What are the factions in Harry Potter? Come on, help me out. Isn't Slytherin one of them? He already got put down in the basement. Oh yeah, Slixus. Okay, so Slixus, I like him, and I think, you know, he has a kit like Genbo, and I think Genbo's really good. So I think he'd be a good nuker, and especially because he's Void. But I think he'd be a good option, and I think it's one that's going to be accessible that we're going to be able to get. So I think that's what we're going to try and do. Also, the free gear removal items. I'm going to go back to the free to play because I made a mistake. It was kind of a dinger. I messed up. When I saw these free gear removal, when I first saw these free gear removal items, I knew they were coming, and I looked at them as, I don't know, I looked at them almost like we look at these things, you know, and I just, whenever I see these in there, or the brews, I just go collect them, and they go into a little storage place, and then I use them when I need them, right? The game doesn't even know I have them because they're in this inventory. Until I collect them from this inventory, from the inbox. And I got on this morning, and I was looking around at some of the new features, the update and everything, and I saw these 3 over on the budget account, and I just hit collect on all 3, and then I said, "Oh man, what did I just do?" Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew, but I will tell you, I mean, hopefully this benefits you a little bit. They do stack. so I had 3 hours and I used it as much as I could. I used the 3 hours wisely. I stripped a bunch of gear that I wanted to keep off of my food champions that I'd been using that I had been using in Faction Wars. And then I did a bunch of Faction Wars, and then I stripped the gear back off of those champions, so that, because it's, you know, it's free to put gear on champions, but to take it off. And it's gear that I thought I'd save for my trash champions, because it costs so much to level up gear that even if it's bad gear, it was nice to have those few hours, you know, that I had to get all that done. So I wasted, but if you notice here, they only gave us 6 days. You know, it's a free gift and it's nice and everything, but they gave us less than a week to use them all. So plan out, you know, if you are going to use these, you know, collect them one at a time, I think preferably, and have a big plan done. You know, maybe go on the Hell Hades Optimizer if you want to join that and subscribe to him and do that. I just felt so bad after I did that. So there's a big mistake that I made on the budget account that's not going to affect the free to play, but it's only a 6-day thing. So I'll probably try and find a moment that it's going to make sense to use them on the free to play, where I need to do some regearing, but I'll plan out a whole bunch of regearing to do, and to be able to do it in an hour. So yeah, make a list and plan it all out if you're going to use those, and just notice that you only have them for 6 days. I don't know if they'll automatically apply, but you know, you'll only have an hour if they automatically apply at the end of those 6 days, or if you just lose them. I don't know. Maybe you just lose the thing. But it would be nice to have a little more control over it. And it would also be nice if, you know, if they had a 99-day expiration. I hope the ones that they say we're going to get those from Centranos, I hope they're not going to have a 6-day expiration. Hopefully those will be 99 days. It would be nice to be able to use them when we want them and save them if we don't need them, you know, for a time that we could use them. Maybe it's a small nitpick, but yeah, I really didn't like that when I saw it. But, you know, beggars and choosers, right? Got my keys in, got 20 turns. I noticed my Ethel lasted 25 turns. So the lifesteal gear is really important on her. Everybody else was dead, and she was still alive, still doing damage, and still taking some hits and able to survive. And her gear isn't completely leveled up yet. I think she's got, we've still got to do all of her accessories. So, and you know, the gear isn't great either. It's just the best I could do with what I'd been able to farm. So that was cool too, that she survived that long. Really, really like that progress. Oh, okay. The other thing, new promo code. And I can't really show you. I've already collected it on. Oh no, I haven't. Okay, good. So I think I did it on the budget. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'd already put it in on the budget, but we will put it in here on the free to play. And it is YouTube 24 mid-game sub. YouTube 24 mid-game sub. It's a long promo code, but you get some brews, you get some multi-battle you get some multi-battles, 2 sets of 50 multi-battles, 20 brews. These only last 6 days as well, But these you can collect. You can collect the brews, you can collect the silver, but 200,000 silver. I mean, I've said this before many times. The silver awards that we get and the gifts and everything, they should all be ramped up 10 times. I mean, and that, like I said before, also that would not even solve the problem, but it would make things a little more comfortable, especially early game. Late game, to get a lot of silver, you're farming a lot of spider and doing things like that, and selling off a lot more gear. The thing, it was funny, this is a problem that I didn't really anticipate, but I thought on the budget account I had a lot of forge materials because I did the forge pass. The problem was I hadn't collected on the forge pass, I haven't collected all of the legendary materials yet, and I want to wait until I have those to do my instinct gear so that I can do 5 and 6 star pieces. I don't want to do a whole bunch of 4 and 5 star pieces and then run out of these epic level pieces before I have the legendary ones to do the 5 and 6 star pieces of instinct. So I was going to do a whole bunch of forging, but then the problem was when I did do some forging, I forged a little 4 and 5 star gear on some of these other sets. I kept a lot more of it than I know. I'm used to selling back most of that gear, but on this early game account, I kept a lot of it, so it ended up not making me as much silver as I thought it would. That was a problem too, and that was a problem that I didn't anticipate happening. I thought, yeah, the forge is a great place to earn some silver, but early game like this, and you're trying to collect some really good gear, and then you deal with what you have. You usually hold on to some pieces that you'll probably sell later, but you hold on to some so that you have some gear in those sets, in the special Doom Tower sets, or if you're doing some perception. The perception itself is just good gear because it gives you an accuracy bonus and a little speed bonus just by virtue of the fact that you have 2 pieces on. And so I thought, man, I'm not making enough silver to do this. And I went in and sold a whole bunch of accessories and rings and things like that because we had been farming some spider to be able just to get through some of these missions that we've been doing. But yeah, so we're on the force, and force is the one open today. So we'll go in here and farm some of this until we get 5 superior potions. One of the things I mentioned in the video that I recorded yesterday was that I was going to try and get my scrolls farmed. I had already started collecting some red scrolls for Stag Knight. And, Sniper is really important to have on Stag Knight because he only has a 95% chance of placing 70, and then books up to 95% of placing decreased defense and decreasing. And so you want to have Sniper on him because it gives an extra 5%, for skills and artifact sets. One thing a lot of people miss is that if you're using a toxic set on somebody and you put Sniper, it's going to give an extra 5% to put poisons on. It doesn't work with stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, provoke, or petrification, any of the CC debuffs. It doesn't work for those sets, like you have a provoke set or a frostbite set or a frost set. It won't work on any of those, but it does help on toxic. And I guess it would help with cursed also. That's actually something that I hadn't thought about. But yeah, it would help with cursed also to place hex. So definitely want to put Sniper on anybody that you're putting in cursed set or toxic, because it'll just give you that extra 5% chance. And it'll also help with any skills that they have to put debuffs on as well, other than the CC debuffs. So yeah, haven't got I'm 9 away. But I've been farming a lot of Minotaur, but I'm putting scrolls on multiple champions, and I'm also leveling up several at the same time. You can see my Frolny is at level 57, so he's almost to 60, and then I will have 4 6-star, or I'll have 4 level 60s on this account, and then I can take care of one of those other missions. But that's pretty much all I had today. Thank you for watching. I'm grateful to you for sticking with me on this, and it's been a good day, and I do like the update. I'm at peace with the decision not to try and go for the fusion, and we'll just try and get a lizardman nuker. There's not a lot of nukers in the lizardmen, so having a nice epic Lizardman nuker that's void affinity, I think will be pretty nice. So yeah, we'll try and go for 2 copies on each account. I've been Wood, and I appreciate you.